Adam Schiff is corrupt. When the report came out saying that he had released the private phone records of an American journalist, I made a post on both Twitter and YouTube saying that it was disgusting. It was corruption in its finest. This is totalitarianism. This is fascism. An American journalist who is accused of no crime, accused of no wrongdoing, and Adam Schiff used the power of the United States federal government to evidently obtain a subpoena for a private American journalist's phone records and then released them. This is corruption. This is corruption at its finest. A private American citizen and a journalist that Adam Schiff doesn't like, and he gets the private phone records. That is absurd. That is corruption. That is ludicrous. Why aren't people calling from the rooftops for this? Finally, a few places, the Wall Street Journal has an article out on it, but it's behind a paywall. A couple other news articles. So finally, the mainstream media is catching up to the rest of us. Let's read this. As promised, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff released the Democrats' report on the Trump impeachment inquiry on Tuesday. If anyone had so inclined, the report can be viewed here. I don't recommend it. It's long. It's boring. The report says President Trump's scheme subverted U.S. foreign policy towards Ukraine and undermined our national security in favor of two politically motivated investigations that would help his presidential re-election campaign. The inquiry uncovered a months-long effort by President Trump to use powers of his office to solicit foreign interference on his behalf in the 2020 election. False. False. The report does not say that. The report says it feels like he said that. It feels, in my opinion, I believe, but they don't have any evidence. In fact, the only evidence we have is statements of no quid pro quo. The only evidence that we have is Trump saying, hey, there's no quid pro quo attached to this. The Ukrainian president, Zelensky, says, there was no quid pro quo. I don't even know what you're talking about. Several times he says, I don't even know what this impeachment is about. There was no quid pro quo. There was no bribery. Anyways, continuing. Speaking to reporters after the report's release, Schiff said, it is deeply concerning that at a time when the President of the United States was using his power of office to dig up dirt on a political rival, that there may be evidence that there were members of Congress complicit in that activity. Well, Schiff, is that the pot calling the kettle black? Is that trying to divert attention away from your own wrongdoing, your own stuff? The private phone records of an American citizen who just so happens to be a journalist that he just so happens to who doesn't agree with, and he got the records. That is disturbing. That is one step closer towards the kind of government that I don't want. White House, continuing to read, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said in a statement, the document reads like the ramblings of a basement blogger straining to prove something when there's evidence of nothing, which it does. I read it. It does. It is a lot of feelings and a lot of really stretched speculation. At the end of a one-sided sham process, Chairman Schiff and the Democrats utterly failed to produce any evidence of wrongdoing by President Trump. This report reflects nothing more than their frustrations, which it does. Evidence. Evidence, 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 evidence. Feels? I don't care. Your feelings have no place in this. Set your feelings aside and look at the evidence. The most stunning aspect of the report, to me anyway, was the inclusion of telephone records of House Intelligence Committee ranking member Devin Nunes, Nunes aide Derek Harvey, President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, and investigative reporter John Solomon. Schiff refused to say how he was able to obtain these records. Because he's corrupt, that's how he was able to obtain them, and he found someone else who was corrupt to help him. Because the federal government is like this rubber stamp thing when it comes to a certain level of American government. Bam, you need this, you got it. It's along the same lines as asset forfeiture. So broad. Schiff. Adam Schiff, you are corrupt. What are you doing? You are getting the private phone records of a private American citizen who is a journalist and releasing them. That is absurd. This journalist was not accused of a crime, was not accused of any wrongdoing. So now what? A journalist that someone in the government doesn't like, they can just look up your phone number? What about if I make a report on someone and someone doesn't like it? Can they just look up my phone number and release all my private phone records? Can they just do that? Is that where we're headed? This is absurd, and everybody should be angry about that. The mainstream media is abuzz with stories about Nunes' communication with Rudy Giuliani during key aspects of his Ukraine pressure campaign. Nunes was in touch with John Solomon around the time he published major articles, and on and on. The telephone records don't include the actual conversation. No, it's metadata. Who you talked to, where you were when you talked to them, where they were when they talked to them, how long your conversation was. But we already know from past reports that metadata is very, very useful for tracking, for companies to decide what kind of ads to give you, who your friends are, what kind of ads to send your friends. Metadata is more than just basic, information. You can compile a profile of somebody. Continuing to read, Schiff has crossed the line of decency with this move. Once again, he has abused his power. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton tweeted that obtaining these records is a remarkable abuse of President Trump's constitutional rights. I would argue that it's an abuse of the constitutional rights of all the above. These are KGB tactics, which, yes, these are. These are something that you would find with the KGB, the Gestapo, the Hitler Youth League, doing things to compile information of people that are political rivals. Do you people understand how harsh this is, how bad this is, how slippy a road this is, and how corrupt a move this was on Schiff's behalf? I like the next paragraph. Well, fair is fair. Republicans should obtain Schiff's phone records. Those of the so-called alleged whistleblower, Eric Caramella, and the colleague with whom he had a bro-like relationship. Sean Misko, one of Schiff hired as an aide the day after the whistleblower's complaint was submitted. Yes, I agree. Tit for tat. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. What you do for one, do for the other. Equality, How would Schiff like that? Besides, we'd like the whistleblower's information anyways. We all want to hear him testify. Let's just get all our cards out there on the table. This is the fastest impeachment process in the history of the United States anyways. Show all our cards, everybody. That way the American people can see it all, sift through it, and get a full, better story. But no, all we're getting are these one-sided things. And then for Schiff to call President Trump corrupt, Schiff, you are corrupt! With evidence. There's no evidence against Trump. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not against Trump. I don't care. I care about the evidence. This is absurd. Private phone records. Is this what you guys want? Is this the direction you guys want us to go? This is corruption. This is a step towards fascism. This is like almost a threat. You mess with Adam Schiff, and he's going to get your phone records and release them. This is absurd, and it needs to be called out. Anyways, that's enough for this one. I care about journalism, actual journalism, reporting something from multiple sources. And yes, obviously, everybody's biased. I'm biased. We're human beings. We have biases, but We can try to report things on a factual basis as much as we can. The difference between mainstream media and news things like mine are this. If we get it right, we advance. If we get it wrong, we don't. The mainstream media, they get paid whether they get it right, wrong, any which way, they don't care. They want to make their higher-ups and their investors and push their own narrative, but they want to make their investors happy. Journalism is important to the United States. Journalism was designed to be the watchdogs of the government, the watchdogs for the people. That's why it had freedom of the press, and freedom of speech for the press was very important. So that way the government couldn't do these underhanded things and get away with it. The people have the power, not the government. The government does as the people require, and the people ask, and the people need. Anyways, that's my ramblings on this one. Let me know what you think. Am I off my rocker? Should I just kick back and be like, yeah, that's fine. Gather phone records. Is that what I should do? Or should I continue speaking up? I think I should continue speaking up, but what is your opinion? Are you okay with this? Are you of the opinion of, who cares? It's information. Yes, this private journalist wasn't accused of a crime. This private journalist wasn't accused of doing any kind of wrongdoing, but somehow his phone records were obtained anyways. Are you okay with that? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below what you think, but that's all I got for this one. I love you guys. Stay informed. Take care.